These are the moments that change the course of people's life.
That was a nightmare for Joe Joyce. He had immeasurably
Shame they have his number.
Effect on his mentality.
Joe started to read his own script.
What should Joe do next?
got everything wrong.
It's all over! No! Jungle power!
I always knew my son was gifted.
Joe, the Juggernaut Joyce!
He just quietly gets on with it.
Stylistically, that was a nightmare for Joe Joyce tonight.
When they say, for me, you can't do this, I always have to prove to them, yes, I can.
It looked awful, didn't it?
Joe Joyce is not a brilliant boxer.
Joe has always been written off. But no matter the setback, never, ever back down.
Joe Joyce by knockout!
He's developed that resilience.
But would you like a rematch?
He's grown up with that from a very, very young age.
Does Joe Joyce go into the immediate rematch? Maybe not.
The reason he's activated it is because he thinks he can beat Zhilei Zhang.
He didn't have to take the fight.
The public has realised he's a man who'll take them anyone.
You know what? This kid has the ability to win a world title.
His career is on the line.
Go get it, son.
Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. Welcome to London. Welcome to Wembley. We are just around the corner from a huge heavyweight rematch this Saturday night at the OVO Arena, live on TNT Sports in the UK and ESPN Plus in the States. One of the most anticipated heavyweight rematches in recent history. Back in April, Joe Joyce and Zhilei Zhang clashed for the WBO Interim Heavyweight Championship. It was Zhilei Zhang that stopped Joe Joyce that night and walked away with the belt. On Saturday night, they're going to run it back. They're going to do it all over again. The winner will be the mandatory challenger for the World Heavyweight title. For a big card like that, you need a big undercard. And as you can see from this table here, we are absolutely stacked. So many great fighters, future world champions, and fighters with a lot to prove on this show. We're going to have a little chat to some of them. And we're going to start with a young man who actually made his debut in this arena. Royston Barney Smith, I'm talking to you. Fight number 7 for you, my friend?
Yeah, fight number 7.
How you feeling? Come on.
Feeling good, feeling fit and strong. Can't wait to get in here Saturday night and put on a great performance for everyone.
Well, look, you made your debut, as I say, in this arena. This is your 7th fight now. How are you feeling that you're progressing in your career so far, and how are you a different fighter to that fighter that made his debut?
Well, from my debut, where I just turned like over pro when I was at such a young age, and I never had no experience from a youth or senior like level, I jumped straight in at pro, like in the deep end with the small gloves and that, and I've got used to that now when I've come on, and I've been like progressing in the gym, getting around and sparring, and just learning day by day. And on Saturday night, you'll see what the start of it was to where I'm at now, and it'll be a big gap in the middle.
Well, it looks like you're adjusting to those small gloves quite well. I'm seeing some of your opponents, they don't hear the final bell. You're putting some guys to sleep out there.
Yeah, I'm going to put this one away too on Saturday night.
Okay, well, we'll make sure we tune in for that. Finally, your brother, he's at it as well, Noah Barney Smith. He looks like he's the next in line. You've got some solid bloodline in the Barney Smith. Tell me about the relationship with him.
It's a great big brother and little brother bond. He's doing very well at the minute. He's European silver medalist, 3 or 4 national titles he's won. He's only been beat 3 times and only by national champion. So in amateur, like, pedigree, he's got a great one at the minute, and hopefully he can turn pro as well when he comes of age.
The Barney Smith takeover. All right, well, thank you very much, Royston. We look forward to fight number 7 on Saturday night. Let's keep it going on the table. There is a man on the other end of the table, a young light heavyweight by the name of Ezra Taylor, calls himself the Cannon. Ezra, this is a step-up fight for you. You take on Joel McIntyre on Saturday, former 2-time English champion, and apparently you chose him.
Yeah, man, what's happening, Dev? Yeah, I chose him, man. I want to prove my worth, my value. It's a Saturday. I get to do what I do best, man. I'm looking forward to it. I really can't wait.
Bit of a chance here to put on a show. It's a big card. It's a big show. There'll be plenty of fans there as well. TNT Sports, ESPN Plus. Are you looking to make a bit of a statement?
Of course, man. It's mandatory. I have to. This guy is a good opponent. He's very experienced. And I feel like after I do what I need to do to him on Saturday, and that will kind of cement me in the mix with that light heavyweight amongst them anyway, because it's a good division. And I'm here for it, man. I really am.
Very limited amateur background, just like Anthony Yard, who also features on this show as well. Do you feel like you are playing a bit of catch-up to sort of fast-track yourself to get there?
No, I'm not playing catch-up, man. I'm in my own league. I'm doing my own thing. I know Yard, he's kind of paved the way for someone like myself, especially being on Queensbury as well. So it's possible, man, and it's doable. And I'm here to make my own path in my own way. And obviously I'm stepping up. It's my 7th fight. And this guy, is top 10 in the UK. So hopefully that's going to propel me into better opportunities, title fights, and really them having cracking fights as well.
How far do you think you can go in this game, Ezra?
All the way, man. Number 1. What kind of question is that, Jeff?
One that you've answered very well, to be honest. What's going to happen then on Saturday night against Joel McIntyre?
It's going to be a dominating performance. I'm going to go in there and execute everything I've been working on. It's going to be much more than what he can handle, I believe.
Okay, all right, we look forward to it. Ezra Taylor, big step-up fight for him on Saturday night against Joel McIntyre, former 2-time English light heavyweight champion. Let's speak to a man who is, well, look, the main event is a big heavyweight fight between Joe Joyce and Zhilei Zhang. There is a young heavyweight prospect on the show who is really seen by many as the future of the division. It's 5, this will be fight number 5 for Moses Itauma. Moses, I've seen you, like your first couple of fights went under a minute, your last couple of fights went the distance. You haven't looked happy after any of them. Are you going to be happy on Saturday night?
No, it depends on obviously the outcome and how the fight goes, but obviously I'm not trying to make it a long fight. Everybody obviously wants to see the main event and try and make it quick as possible.
What are you expecting from this guy? This Amir Khan, he's only been stopped once in his career. Are you expecting a durable guy, or what do you think?
I don't really know. Like, I'll prepare for everything. Like, at the end of the day, it's just another body.
In your last fight, it was Kevin Espindola, and we know that he's taken good fighters the distance. Solomon Dakers, he took the distance, other guys as well. And there were moments in there where it looked like you were getting a bit frustrated that he wasn't really giving it back.
Yeah, of course. Like, it's a bit hard to make an opportunity with a guy that only tucks up on the corner, but boy, that guy had some meaty head. I hurt my hands. But like I said, right now, it's just staying away from injuries and yeah, step ups.
Did you learn lessons from that last fight?
No, not really. But it don't really matter.
Okay, well, what can we expect on Saturday night against Amir Khan? What can we see from Moses Itauma?
KO for sure.
Okay, well, we look forward to that. And finally, obviously, look, you're a heavyweight. You've done plenty of rounds with Joe Joyce. You were a keen observer when they boxed the first time, him and Zhilei Zhang. What's going to happen? What do you think the main event's going to say?
No, I'm rooting for Joe. It's a tough ask, but I'm rooting for him.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Moses Itauma. Let's bring in a man very much on the comeback trail. Zach Parker, it's been a while. It was November you had your fight with John Ryder. That was the mandatory position for Canelo Alvarez. You hurt your hand in the 4th round. You couldn't continue. How's the hand? How you been? Is it good to be back?
Yeah, it's good to be back around fight week. I didn't think I was going to get to this point, to be fair. When you're injured, you're just sitting around doing nothing. I was close to hanging the gloves up, but like I said, I'm buzzing to be back around fight week. The atmosphere, As soon as I started back training, I got that fire in my belly again. So yeah, I'm looking forward to putting on a good performance on Saturday.
And how is the hand?
Yeah, perfect. Been sparring 10 rounds for the last like 7-8 weeks. So yeah, it's been perfect in sparring. I'll have to test that out on Saturday.
Well, you mentioned it there. You said you actually thought about hanging up the gloves. I didn't know that. So it sounds like that was quite hard to get over for you.
Yeah, obviously, when you're injured, you're just sitting around doing nothing. You just think, what's the point? You're probably better off getting a normal job. But yeah, I've done this all my life, and like I said, once I started training, I got that fire back in my belly, and it lifted me up really. And like I said, I can't wait to put in a good performance on Saturday.
And seeing that John Ryder did get that fight with Canelo after the fight with you, did that inspire something in you? Did it relight a kind of hunger in you?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, it's not nice taking a loss, especially when it's just an injury. But yeah, it shows what level I'm at. I need to get this lad out here on Saturday, and then I want top 10 straight after.
What weight are you going to come back at?
Well, this one's at 12.4, so I can move up to light heavy if I want to, but we'll have to see what gets offered to me. There's a lot of big fights at super middle, the likes of Benavidez, Cilla Plant, and obviously at light heavy there's a lot of British names. Yard, there's Lyndon Arthur, Boatsi, Dan Aziz. There's a lot of big fights, but like I said, I want top 10.
Well, Anthony Yard is on this show as well. Is he someone that you're keeping an eye on then?
Yeah, obviously we'll see what gets made after this fight. If I listen to Frank and my team, Neil and that, if this big fight's be made at light heavy, I'll go up. But obviously I can still make super middle if I want to. Okay, well look, it's Khalid Graidia on Saturday night. We've seen him against Karol Italma, we've seen him against Dan Aziz. He boxes Ezra Taylor. Ezra Taylor, you boxed him last time out as well. He's a tough guy, he's got a hard head. What are you expecting to happen on Saturday? That's it, yeah. He's going to come to fight. He wants to take what I've got. So yeah, I'm looking for a hard fight, but with my skill set, I only see one outcome, and that's that Parker win. Okay, thank you, Zach. Returning on Saturday night, let's speak to the fighters involved with the WBC International Super Lightweight Championship on the line. The champion, Pierce O'Leary, and the challenger, Kane Gardner. Very intriguing scrap. We're going to bring in Kane Gardner first. Kane, I've been following your Instagram. It sounds like this is a big opportunity for you on the big stage. How does it feel?
Yeah, it's a big fight, biggest fight of my career, biggest show of my career. Yeah, it's a big opportunity, you know, ready to change my life. I sort of mix it with everyone in the division, see how good I can be. Yeah, I'm ready to go. First title shot of your career as well. You picked up that win over Conor Walker, which has aged very well, and you said, I want a title shot next. Well, here it is. Yeah, I've been calling for title shots for a long time now. I'm overdue one. I wanted to start like Central Area English and work my way up, but no one wanted to find me for him. But yeah, we're here now. Got a good win over Conor Walker. Yeah, I got loads of messages that night saying, "Bloody hell, your win looks good now." Yeah, that's what I mix it with everyone and anyone. Really. What do you think of Pierce O'Leary? They call him the Big Bang. What do you reckon? Yeah, he's a good fighter. I've been in with good fighters. I'm a good fighter. So it's an intriguing fight. The best man will win on the night. I said to you outside, is it a 50-50 fight? And you said, no, it's not. Tell us what percentage you think it is and what sort of fight it is. On paper, I've got a better resume. But obviously he's the home fighter, so I just say it was a 50-50. Yeah, because obviously he's the home fighter. Yeah, I think on paper I've got a better resume. Yeah, it's what it is. It's a fight, good fight. I'm just ready to go. You look ready to go. Let's bring in the Big Bang. Pierce O'Leary, fight number 13 for you. You've got an opponent there who I think is the step up at this point. Do you agree with that? And he says he's ready to go.
No, 100%. He's definitely a big step up. He's a fantastic fighter. Listen, I don't watch my fighters just like my coach. They do the job. They come up with a game plan in training camp, and then that's it. Then it's all about repetition and nailing everything down in training camp. What sort of fight are you expecting from Kane Gardner? To be honest with you, it doesn't matter what fight. Once I bring my best my A game, that's it then. I don't need to worry about anything else.
I've heard you've been sparring light middleweights just in order to get some good sparring in and have people that stand up. Tell us more about this.
Yeah, obviously everyone thinks I'm a hard hitter, so it's hard to get rounds in at my weight and welterweight and stuff like that. But listen, I don't really like depending on the power in my hands and stuff like that. I need the rounds in. I need to get fit, and that's what I do. And if that's counting sparring light middleweights, well then that's what we're going to do.
Kane Gardner's never been stopped. Are you the man to stop him?
If it comes, it comes, but I won't look for it. I'm looking for 10. I'm expecting 10 gorilla rounds, so and obviously me come out on top, so yeah, the best man may win.
Well, Kane, let's bring you in here. 13 have tried, 12 have tried, 12 have failed against Pierce O'Leary. Why are you the man to take his unbeaten record on Saturday?
Because I just believe in my attributes, you know. I've been in a good 50-50 fights. I box different styles, people that are going to come knock me out. Yeah, I just believe that I'm just a good bear fighter.
Do you think he's made a mistake taking this fight?
We'll see on Saturday night.
We will see on Saturday night. Pierce, anything what's your kind of final prediction for this, and is there anything you'd like to say to Kane Gardner here?
No, I wish him nothing but the best. Two sportsmen, that's what we are. We're up here. I'm up here feeding my family, so listen, try beat me, you're going to take me to deep waters, and I guarantee you'll be the one drowning.
I've been to deep waters.
Okay, make sure you bring a life jacket this time as well.
Yeah, I will do.
Is that something on your mind at all? Do you feel as though you've been to places that he hasn't been in the ring so far, Kane?
Yeah, I would say so, yeah. But, you know, it's what it is. We'll see on Saturday night. People tried to take me off before and knock me out, said they're going to knock me out, but we'll just see.
Listen, I'm not saying all my hard work was done in the gym, sparring, the people who have been sparring and stuff like that, and I can't say anything about the spar, so listen, I'm confident in himself.
All right, well, there we have it. As you can see, a wonderful undercard. Anthony Yard is also back, and we'll hear from Anthony Yard tomorrow at the weigh-in. Fantastic. Joe Joyce and Zhilei Zhang will be the main event, and we'll hear from those guys very, very shortly. We're going to do some face-offs here down the front, but until then, thank you very much.
Wow.
Excuse me. All right, well, we've just had the undercard press conference. Stick with us for Joe Joyce and Zhilei Zhang. I'm delighted to be joined by the manager not just Moses Atama, but Pierce O'Leary as well. Yep. Big night for your boys on Saturday, Francis.
It is, Dave. It is. And I could say great press conference, as always.
I was trying to stir it.
Very crisp. Listen, I think they're two very respectable guys. I think if either guy started giving a bit of trash talk, I think it would have come across slightly forced. So, listen, it is a step up for Pierce. You're right what you said in the presser. I just feel like he's ready for it. He asked for a bit of a tougher fight than the last one, which obviously that guy on paper was supposed to come give him a real fight in.
It lasted a round, didn't it?
It lasted a round. It was quite a vicious one. So I think it'll be a totally different fight on Saturday. We're expecting 10 hard rounds, but as you introduced him, he said, here is Big Bang and Big Bang can bang.
Big Bang can bang.
So I think if he hits Kane Gardner on the chin flush, I don't think there's anyone in the world that can withstand that. But Kane's one tough customer, and Pierce got to be 110%.
Be a big statement. Kane Gardner's never been stopped, but Pierce O'Leary, as you say, he's got that bang. The 140-pound division, not just world level, but around these shores, is very, very stacked. Where do you place Pierce right now, and how far can he go?
I think Pierce goes all the way. I think out the guys I'm looking after and managing, I'd say that Pierce is probably the one that I would earmark for that world title opportunity first. Although we are still, I think, a couple of years off of that. There's no rush. He's still developing as a fighter. The team down at the iBox, Al Smith, Eddie Lamb, phenomenal work with him. I've never met a more dedicated guy. He's away from his family. Being a dad myself, I know what it's like to be, even for a long weekend away from the kids when we've got a show abroad or something. He does 8 weeks. He's missing landmark milestones in his daughter's life, and
that makes him angry.
Yeah, big time. Whenever I say to him, as a family, So like I said, he's doing this to put food on the table, to create himself a legacy, he's not messing around. He could train at home, couldn't he? And he doesn't. He chose to be, in Bromley down with Al Smith and Eddie, and it's a big sacrifice he's making, and he'll need to see the rewards from that.
But he does want to go back home. In terms of Croke Park, is something that he's talked about. This is the big dream, right? Could it happen? What do you think?
Well, listen, let's see. You mentioned some of the other guys, and this isn't some calling out. I don't want all taglines of Pierce is calling out X, Y, and Z. But I'm glad Adam Zeem's got his European title shot. Dalton's obviously doing his thing. I think in terms of development, I don't think Pierce is too far behind them. I think I'd like to, Pierce's big homecoming for me would be great next year. In Dublin, we'll see where that European title sits.
Well, let's talk about Moses Atama, your other young heavyweight prospect, coming all the way through. I mean, he's got a lot of buzz about him right now. As I said to him at the press conference, after each fight, he never looks happy. Do you think he'll be happy on Saturday night?
He's only happy when you're cracking jokes, mate. No, listen, he's here he is. Here's the man. Listen, the development is going to plan. And although he said that he didn't learn anything from those last couple of fights,
he must have done right.
I'm sure he did. He's learning that these guys that come and tuck up, they need unlocking, and I'm sure we're going to see something different on Saturday.
So what's because obviously you're involved in the matchmaking process, which it's quite a big task, isn't it, for a young heavyweight who's expected to go all the way to the top, can't make any mistakes along the way as well. What's the thinking behind this guy that he's fighting on Saturday?
I think this guy. He's only been stopped once, so we don't want just knockover jobs. We still need, we're still learning. We still want Moses to go in there and be able to come away from fights and say, right, this guy gave us a few more awkward questions to answer, and I think this guy can do that. Although I do expect a very spectacular knockout this weekend.
Well, that's what he thinks.
This guy will come and have a go, and that's what we wanted for Saturday. We wanted someone to come and have a fight with Moses, and. From what I've watched and from the conversations I've had with Steve Finesse, our matchmaker, he's pretty confident this will be quite an explosive night.
Well, we look forward to it. I'll tell you someone else who comes for a row, comes to have a go, is Zhilei Zhang, actually. And he really came for one back in April. I think he shocked the world. I think it feels like he was a little bit underestimated heading into that fight with Joe Joyce. Do you agree with that?
I think he definitely was underestimated, but someone who's obviously he had the loss to Hrgovic. But apart from that, he hasn't put a foot wrong his whole career. And I maybe felt that Joe came in a bit too light. And Zhilei's a big man, experienced man. you know, I think he's my age, so it's not like he's going to be phased by an arena or phased by a big stage. He's a mature, robust, big whacking machine.
Big bang.
And exactly. So you know, I think you know if you know, Joe's got to be seriously on point on Saturday, and he's got to get back to being using his man strength, because I felt like he got on band. I mean, I know he's no spring chicken. He's 36, but he got. I think he got old man by Zhilei Zhang, and I think he's got to put, you know, hopefully put some of that timber back on, and he goes in there and he roughs him up a bit, because I feel that's the key to it.
Do you think, look, the last time he was an underdog, Joe Joyce, was against Daniel Dubois, and I guess when he boxed Daniel Dubois, he probably had just that little bit of fear factor in terms of this guy could knock me out. And now he knows Zhilei Zhang can hurt him, can do damage. Do you think that changes his approach in the fight in terms of, you know, just how he can't just walk forward and take shots? Well,
he recovered from the few early scares in the Daniel fight, didn't he? I mean, Daniel was on top for the first 3 or 4 rounds. And I don't. And people said that had the eye not gone, he may have been able to recover from the onslaught that Zhilei gave him. I'm not so sure. I think Zhilei he would have stopped him. I do genuinely think he would have stopped him eventually.
Zhilei would have stopped Joe Joyce.
I just think it wasn't Joe's night. But like you've just said, having that fear factor and thinking to myself, shit, I can't get hit with that. I cannot get bust up. My eye cannot get bust up like that again. Otherwise, it's going to repeat. So yeah, obviously they would have worked on some new things to make sure that doesn't happen again.
Is 5 months long enough to adjust to Zhilei Zhang, to that? Because when he boxed him the first time, it kind of looked like he was shocked by Zhilei Zhang standing with his feet the other way and being a southpaw. That's what it looked like. Is 5 months long enough for the recovery of that? So. And also the eye?
Let's hope so. Who knows? Who knows? You know, this is heavyweight boxing as well. One shot can end it all. So all the preparation and all the studying he probably would have done that fight and previous Zhang fights. Who knows? Who knows? Well, it's a real 50-50, I think, on Saturday night. So I think, you know, fans are in for a big treat, and as are we.
As are we. Let's try and bring in Moses Itama. Do you want to grab him? Bring him in. I was hoping someone would bring him. Come on, Moses. Let's have a chat. Like, stand in the middle.
Go get in the middle.
We'll,
what's going on?
What is going on?
I don't know. I guess I'm doing a bit of press today, innit?
I think so, mate. You must be getting used to this now, though, right? I mean, you've had
sort of. It's hard, isn't it? When
I think you enjoy it, really.
Nah, I don't know about enjoying it, but yeah, I'm getting used to it a little bit.
Francis, how far can he go? I mean, you've kept an eye on Moses, obviously, since his amateur days. You're like, oh, he's very good, isn't he? You've managed to grab him and signed him. He's come over to Queensbury as well. How far can this young man go?
If he keeps doing what he's doing and keeps his feet on the ground, we can go all the way. But it's one fight at a time. There are records to be broken and there are milestones to hit, but it's Saturday night is the first one, and then the next one after that is 28th of October, and then the next one after that it'll be December. So it's fight by fight. He's got an ambition. Obviously, this record of Mike Tyson's record is an ambition. You don't ask a 16, 17-year-old footballer, you know, who's just signed his pro forms, what's your ambition? You know, they don't say to win the League Cup. They say I want to win a World Cup, and that's what he's put a statement out there by saying that he wants to be a world champion at a very young age, but you've still got to learn your trade. You've still got to do fight by fight, 100%. And you've still got to, you know, and you're still down to myself, trainers, and most importantly Moses to implement what gets practiced on a daily basis. You know, it's my job to make sure that he's with Queensbury, to make sure that he's matched properly, and his training team training properly, and then he knuckles down and studies his game every single day.
And I'm hearing, Moses, I think you told me this, like outside your bedroom you've got like a whiteboard up telling you what you're going to do every day, and Carol, your brother, fills that in for you. Is that right? Yeah.
No, so literally, my 3 brothers, or 2 brothers' bedrooms are like right next to each other, and right as you walk out, we have a whiteboard of like what's going on and that. And then, like you said, obviously the becoming the youngest heavyweight world champion is obviously up on that whiteboard. I see it every day.
See it, believe it, achieve it, huh?
Of course.
Look, I just want to get your final thoughts on the main event before we swap you out for Zach Parker. Now, look, as I mentioned up there, you've done plenty of rounds with Joe Joyce. You know what he's all about. Can he do it? Can he turn it around?
Of course he can. It's a heavyweight game. It's a heavyweight division. Of course he can. But it's just whether he will do it or not.
And can he?
Yeah, of course you can.
back in the Brit. Look, we've brought in Zach Parker here as well. Moses, I'll keep you around for a chat. Oh, you're gonna go. Yeah, let's keep you around. Let's have a chat. Do you want to fight?
Microphone.
Let's bring in another mic for Moses and Talma. Zach, great to have you back. I mean, just great to see you again. You know, it's November your last fight as well. You were on the cusp of something massive. And now you're back, rebuilding. How's the rebuild journey going in your head to get in here today?
Yeah, obviously, like I said up there, it was hard to get back to this point really, but I'm buzzing to be back around the fight week atmosphere. And like I said, I can't wait to put on a good performance. I need to dominate in this fight, and then hopefully I aim for bigger fights towards the end of the year.
We was having a chat about the main event, Joe Joyce, Zhilei Zhang. Moses is committing to Joe Joyce eventually.
The Brit.
He's back in the Brit. What do you think? How do you see this fight playing out?
It's going to be a hard fight. He's obviously got to change it up a bit, Joyce has. I think he needs to use his jab. He uses jab against Dubois perfectly. I think he needs to use that and then try and aim for the bigger shots towards the end of slow Zhang down and aim for the bigger shots towards the end of the fight. But it's going to be a 50-50 fight. You see what Zhang did in the first fight. It's a wild fox and southpaw as well. It's hard against them southpaws. So yeah, we just have to wait and see.
Do people, you're getting a lot of work as a southpaw heavyweight. You've been in with Dubois, you've been in with Joyce as well. All around the world, people bring you in. Is it very difficult to find someone who has like your kind of style and your stance and?
I guess so. Like, there's only a few southpaw heavyweights on the scene anyway. But like I said, when I go to these places to spar Dubois, spar Joyce, or spar Joshua, like I'm not going there for their benefits. Like I barely get rounds myself. So, like as much as beneficial for them, it's more beneficial for me because I need it. But yeah, with Joe Joyce, obviously I'm gonna cheer him on. But it's a tough ask, it's a big ask, but of course he can do it.
Do you think he needs to, now that he's tasted a bit of Zhang's power, right? Now that he said he got hurt in the fight. We've never seen Joe Joyce get hurt before. He got mashed up, his eye was all over the place. Do you think he's going to fight with a little bit of fear factor, like perhaps he had against Daniel Dubois?
No, I believe first what I thought might have been wrong is that I think in the fight with Zhang, it's his career lightest. Am I wrong?
If not the lightest, one of the lightest.
It's one of the lightest.
Yeah.
I'm a bit confused of why he would have done that, but I believe if he did pack on the extra kilos or whatever, he could maybe come out on top, or that could be a massive factor in it.
You see that a lot of times in heavyweights, don't you? You see him with Tyson Fury in the first Deontay Wilder fight. He was lighter, and then when he got a bit heavier, he started walking through him. So we just have to wait and see. Like I said, it's a 50-50 fight, and may the best man win.
May the best man win. Thank you, Moses. Thank you, Zach. I think we're going to swap you out. Thanks for the chat. Best of luck to you on Saturday. Let's bring in Mr. Terry Lane.
Dev, how are you doing?
I'm very well. How are you, my friend?
It's great to be back in London.
Yeah, I mean, happy memories for you in London. This is, of course, the manager of Zhilei Zhang, by the way, for those who aren't aware. Back in London. Big win last time out. You must be feeling good, huh?
We're feeling great about the fight. Camp was amazing. I think it's the best camp we've ever had. I actually do think you're going to see an improved Zhang Zhilei. I know we're going to see a better Joe Joyce as well, but I think we're going to see even a better Zhang Zhilei. We've made some tremendous improvements in our camp.
Well, I've heard about this. I've heard that you've brought in new S&C people. I've heard he's got therapists, there's new masseuse, and all things like that. And the thing that I thought was, normally fighters make changes after they've lost. He's just had the biggest win of his career, and he's making all these changes. Tell us why.
Well, that's just Zhilei. He's always about improving himself. He is always striving for perfection, and that's just the type of guy he is. Doesn't matter win, lose, or draw. He's always looking to become better. Mm-hmm. That's not supposed to happen when you're 40 years old, but I'm seeing it in firsthand with Zhang Zhilei.
How did you feel watching the first fight unfold? Obviously, you guys came here with a lot of confidence, but you were the underdog heading into the fight. It was on it was like a Joe Joyce show. He was the main event. He was the star coming through. He juggernauted everyone. Did the fight play out as you expected it to?
Pretty much exactly how we did. People forget that we sought this fight out. We wanted this fight, so we had to make the concessions with the rematch clause and everything like that, but we wanted the fight because of how we thought the styles matched up. Mm-hmm. And we kind of think the same thing is going to happen this time. I don't know how a 38-year-old fighter in under 5 months can turn into Muhammad Ali, but that's what we think is going to happen. We think it's going to play out pretty much the same way. But that's just me talking.
Well, look, I interviewed Zhang when he arrived in the UK, and he made it very clear, I am targeting the eye. Is this something that you guys are talking about?
Well, it's the same straight left hand, it's the same style, and it's the same face, it's the same, it's the same shot. So I think the eye could get damaged just as badly this fight. But, I mean, look, he's there to be hit. And again, unless he turns into Pernell Whitaker or something like that, we see this playing out sort of the same way.
So the feeling from the Joyce camp was that had the fight continued and Joyce didn't have an injured eye, that the punch stats, and I was speaking to Adam Morley about this, the punch stats suggested that Joyce was coming on and maybe Zhang was starting to fade a little bit. Do you buy into that? What's your thoughts on that?
I don't buy into that. I don't know what fight they were watching. I mean, Zhilei actually has more stamina than people give him credit for. But if this fight does go late, we are completely prepared for that. So I understand that this time Joyce might try to survive. That's an understandable strategy. But he's going to have to come through an onslaught of heavy punches.
Mm-hmm. Do you think Joyce underestimated him?
Yes. I think he did. And I do think he's not going to look... you can't overlook him the second time.
Right.
I do think we're going to see a better Joyce. Joe's going to come in, and I don't know exactly what his strategy is going to be, but whether it's trying to go after us right away or trying to survive, we don't know, but we're ready for it all.
Mm-hmm. And I understand that your target, should you come through Joe Joyce once again, I've heard you guys talk about Tyson Fury. Is that what this is all about?
Listen, we're going to have to see if we get through this fight and win on Saturday, we're going to have to see what fights get made, but more importantly, what fights don't get made. And I had a great meeting with George Warren yesterday. I'm not going to divulge what we kind of talked about, but we're looking at our options kind of regardless of how this fight plays out. But our first target would be to fight Tyson Fury if we win this fight on Saturday.
Do you think that's a winnable fight for Zhilei Zhang?
Absolutely. We feel almost as confident as we do with Joe Joyce. Look, it's how the styles match up, and I think Zhang Zhilei as a southpaw gives Tyson Fury a world of problems.
Well, look, he gave Joe Joyce a world of problems the first time out. Let's talk a little bit about the weight. That seems to be a takeaway from the first fight.
Yeah.
Everyone says Joyce came in too light, and this time he needs to come in heavier, and therefore he'll be the juggernaut and have much more success. What do you think?
Well, I don't know. How's that going to affect his movement, though? Is he going to be less agile or more agile? If he's going to be more sturdy and just be right there, he's going to be there to be hit by Zhang Zhilei, who's a hard-punching man. So I don't know. We're going to see how the weight plays into it, but I don't see it being all that much of a different fight because of the weight, one way or another, to be honest with you.
What about Zhang's weight? He was almost 2 stone heavier than Joe Joyce the first time round. Now, this is just an observation I had. I don't see him every day, but it seemed to me at the airport he looked like a little bit leaner. Maybe this new S&C stuff. Do you think he could be lighter this time around?
Well, he could be lighter this time, but he could be heavier. It might be a change of the body composition as well, but we completely changed our approach to strength and conditioning. So I'm just as curious as you are to see what he looks like on the scales and what the weight is. But I've seen him sparring. He looks sharp. He looks great. So we're feeling pretty good.
I've heard Zhang talk about this sparring, actually. He said that he's got someone who's bigger than Joe Joyce, he's got someone that hits harder than Joe Joyce, and he's got someone that's faster or throws more volume than Joe Joyce as well. So, I mean, he really thinks he's got all bases covered, Terry.
I've seen some brutal sparring sessions, and I've seen him do some brutal things to some guys, but I think we had a sparring tailor-made for this fight. So, listen, again, we're feeling pretty good. But it's heavyweight boxing. Anything can happen.
In terms of the actual press conference today, I remember the first one back in April. Zhang said he bangs everything. We all had a good laugh. It was all good fun.
Yes.
Are you expecting something like that today, or do you think maybe there's a bit of fear there now? Maybe there's a bit more respect for Zhilei Zhang, and it could be a bit different. What do you think?
Maybe it's going to be a little less lighthearted this time. I don't know, but I mean, hey, Adam. Oh shit, Harry. There we go. This is a great team. This is we love these guys. We're Joe Joyce fans.
We have the managers now. Look, mate, you should have heard that. The stuff he's been saying about you.
I bet. It's been all respectful.
It has been, but of course he thinks that his man is going to knock out your man on Saturday night. What says you, Adam Morley?
Look, I mean, Zhang put in a great performance last time. He's a great fighter, and this is an elite world level fight. I think we're going to get a better Joe Joyce than last time. I think we're going to get an incredible fight, but I think we're going to see Joe Joyce's class, and we're going to get a reverse result.
Which would be a stoppage round about the middle rounds for Joe Joyce?
No, I think that we're planning on this fight going long. We think it's going to go long. Zhang maybe dropped once in his career, but he's not easy to drop. I think we're planning on this fight going long.
Speaking to Terry, I think that this was something that you'd said about the punch stats in the fight just beginning to favour Joe Joyce, and perhaps if the eye injury wasn't there, perhaps Joe Joyce would have come on and got the job done. Tell us more about this.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's all what ifs, isn't it?
Yeah.
Someone said if my auntie had a pair of bollocks, she'd be my uncle. You know, it's like
apologies for anyone offended by the language.
It's all what ifs,
Yeah,
isn't it? And yeah, look, Joe outlands Zhang considerably round by round. He outlands all heavyweights and probably has a higher punch output than most super middleweights, right? But I don't think, if I'm being honest, Joe's punches were really getting to Zhang last time. So Joe was outlanding him 3-4 to 1 in round 5. I think those shots are scoring shots, and I think Joe would have done progressively better on the cards, but he wasn't putting a dent in Zhang. So it's one thing to outland him, but we need him to be putting a dent in Zhang.
Well, look, one of the conversation points around the first fight was the weight. Everyone was kind of like, oh my God, he's so light. But didn't maybe think too much of it at the weigh-in, just that, oh look, you can see his abs, great, Juggernaut's back.
Yeah.
But after the fight, everyone starts assessing what happened. He came in too light. This is the sort of thing people are saying.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that?
I mean, I think he was too light. I think there are reasons for that. I think he's different now. You get to see him today. He looks different. He is different. It's going to be heavier. It's not a secret. I think, but like all these things, you know, if you increase one thing, you may decrease another. So Joe at 256 was incredibly fit. After those, unfortunately, when the fight got stopped, I think he could have done another 10 rounds that night. His fitness is still of an incredibly elite level for a heavyweight, I believe. So I still think even at 300 pounds, Joe has still got the best engine in the heavyweight division, in my opinion, right? But he's going to be heavier, but it's a game, isn't it, right? Zhang might be a bit lighter, who knows, but it's just a game. But yeah, he's going to be heavier.
This fight won't be boring, that's for sure.
First one wasn't boring at all.
Absolutely not, yeah. That's what we strive for, you know, entertain the fans.
5 months. That's the turnaround time from Zhang Joyce 1, Zhang Joyce 2. Is that long enough to make the adjustments that Joe Joyce needs?
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, look, as I said before, he's a 2 world-level heavyweights. And it is going to be, we're not just saying it's going to be a tremendous fight on Saturday, but it's a chess match. It's ultimately a chess match, but with limited pieces. Like, each of the guys is incredibly good at certain things. And, you know, we've come in with a Joyce looking like this at this weight, who's done this. They're going to come in with a Zhang at this weight, done this. It'll be a great fight, but I think we've got the recipe to do it.
Terry thinks that you guys underestimated Zhilei Zhang the first time. Do you agree?
Possibly, yeah. I mean, whatever anyone says, I can say to the camera, no, we didn't underestimate Zhang, but it's about the boxer himself. And I think Joe has gone on record as saying that. I think he's going to be incredibly focused on the night. Incredibly focused. And, you know, I'm sure after round 1 he didn't underestimate Zhang anymore.
I think that became very clear.
Yeah.
Tell us why, then. I mean, Joe Joyce, obviously, he could have activated the rematch clause, he could have left it, he could have gone another route. How determined was he to activate that rematch clause? What were those conversations like at your end, Adam?
Yeah, look, Joe wants to be a world champion. And obviously the straightest way to get back to being a world champion is to go take back the WBO interim belt, right? There are other ways around it. There were conversations I heard about Tyson Fury and Zhang and stepping aside and all these things. But Joe wants to become a world champion. You know, he missed out on that gold medal, but he wants to be a world champion. So it was always that. And yeah, look, when you faced your first defeat as a professional against a guy, let's face it, pretty ominous looking guy. It's not like a smaller guy found his way around Joe. It's not the easiest thing in the world to just take the rematch straight away, but it shows you Joe's resolve and how much he wants that world title. Really, I mean, let's face it, for both Zhang and Joyce, this is not an easy night's work. This is not easy. Neither of them is going to be saying this is an easy night's work. It's a very, very difficult night's work. They're both going to have to go through hell in this fight. And it just shows the level of his resolve.
Well, look, Joe Joyce is very rarely at the top of anyone's shopping list to have as a fight. But you mentioned that actually this is a fight that you guys and Zhilei Zhang has been seeking out. What was it about Joe Joyce that you guys fancied?
it was really the style matchup. It was really kind of just he's there to be hit. We know he's got a great chin. He's got one of the best chins in boxing, all of boxing. But we have one of the best punchers in boxing. We also favored ourselves with just the southpaw stance. It gives a lot of people problems. We watched a lot of tape, a lot of video. But this is a fight we wanted even before we were with the former promoter, Matchroom. We wanted to make this fight happen. So when the
we can't say that on this
stream.
Leave
it out. Leave it out.
Yeah, beep that out. Yeah. Go on.
I hope you're doing well in Orlando. But we wanted this fight, and we the opportunity presented itself. Actually, for the first fight, Joe did not need to take the first fight at all. So the fact that, again, you have two world-class guys, like he said, that want to give the fans the best fight, that are on the cusp of the heavyweight championship of the world, and this is super compelling, and it's just super fun to be involved in this and to see what's going to happen on Saturday night. It's going to be fireworks, I think.
How are you two getting on?
I like this guy.
We text sometimes. Sometimes we're going to try and meet in New York and do that thing in New York, but it never happened.
Well, I mean, we want to bring you guys back. We want to do something. But again, whatever happens with this fight, win, lose, or draw, we back Joe Joyce. Like I said, I hope we don't find ourselves in World War III anytime soon. But if we do, I want Joe Joyce in the foxhole with me. He's got heart, and he's a great guy and a great fighter. So I got nothing bad to say about the guy. We're just going to have a great fight.
Yeah, and likewise, when we took the fight, everyone was like, wow, this guy backs down on nobody. He's fighting Zhang. That's a tough fight. After the fight, when he lost, everyone was like, Adam Morley should be fired for taking that fight. And it's very, but what are we in boxing for? We're in boxing to bring the fans great fights. We're in boxing to represent our clients individually and get them the best results. But Joe wants to be world champ, but he wants a legacy, and he wants to beat the best put in front of him. And he's shown it time and again. He could have swerved Zhang this way. We could have found another way around. He's not going to swerve anyone.
Do you have any regrets from taking the fight in the first place?
Absolutely not. And I'll tell you why. Because we've learned so much from the first fight. Incredible learning experience, number one. And number two, it was a good fight that stopped early. But it's going to produce a fight on Saturday which is going to be phenomenal.
It is going to be phenomenal. We are very much looking forward to it. We've got the press conference coming up very shortly. You guys are going to be sat up there. I'm expecting plenty of animosity. Plenty of
lots
beef,
of animosity, yeah.
You're going to go back and forth?
No, I mean, it's been great working with these guys and Queensberry as well. So, no, we're excited. We're just really excited.
At the first press conference, I was saying to Terry, it was good fun, right?
Yeah.
He was talking about I bang everything. There was chat, get zanged. And
there was a little linguistic thing.
Lost in translation, as we would say. But
it worked.
Listen, he does bang everything.
Well, look, I feel like it might be a bit more serious this time round. I feel like, particularly with Joe Joyce, at the top level, this is what people are saying, his career right now is on the line. And even Zhilei Zhang here, 40 years old, long way back for the loser. Do you think we've got quite a serious presser coming up, Adam?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think that is, often people big things up with greater consequences than their pit. This is the end for these guys. But I actually think world level wise, it's not the end for either of these two if they lose, because they'll always get work. But becoming a world champion, very, very, very long way back for the loser. Very long way back.
Well, and the same with yourself, I'm sure, Terry, as well.
I agree completely. And there's so much happening in the heavyweight division. It's kind of like a big game of musical chairs. You got to be the right place at the right time, but you got to take the fights. Like he said, fighters fight. And that's what both these guys want. We'll see what happens with the heavyweight division, with Usyk, with Fury. But you're going to have to take fights like this to get those opportunities.
And the winner of this fight is the WBO interim, and who knows what will happen with Undisputed. I mean, you want to ask Frank Warren about that. But it's not impossible that the winner of this fight sits there and gets elevated to world champion.
That's right. That's
effectively, we view this as a world title fight.
Well, look, it's a fight worthy of that.
For sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We've seen plenty of interim champions get upgraded in the past as well. So, if that doesn't happen, when do you expect the WBO interim champion to be called for his mandatory shot?
Well, IBF hasn't been called yet. I think that I'm hearing that Ergovic's people are not that happy about that, and they may be pushing on that. I think that should be called, and I think it should happen this year. And then with Undisputed to one side, it should be Q1 2024. But I think we're going to see some Undisputed talk, and I think that's going to put the stuff back.
All right, let me just, while I've got you guys here, you've got the heavyweights, you've got Zhang, you've got Joyce. We had Usyk versus Dubois the other week. I know people have stopped talking about it, but I haven't. I haven't stopped talking about it, right?
Don't make us. Don't make us.
Was it low or was it not? What do you think, Adam?
I don't want to sit on the fence here.
Just turn your mic around just to show what channel you're on. Yeah, go on.
I actually, my gut reaction was not low. That was my instant reaction. Not low.
We'll stop you there then. And
did not look low.
Yeah.
Did not look low to the naked eye. Didn't look low at all. But on reflection, I think it was the right decision. Actually, I think it was low.
What do you think, Terry?
A little bit of a different take here. So I'm not going to die on any hill on either side.
We wouldn't expect you to.
If Usyk was standing like this still, and Dubois hit him in the same place, that's a low blow. But it happened during an exchange. I'm leaning towards it wasn't low. First of all, the referee wasn't warning Dubois about any low blows, even though Usyk was complaining. No official warning was given, much less no point was taken away. So I found it curious about how the referee handled it all. I'm leaning towards it was not low. But you are right on the cusp, and it's so sad to see because the judgment call of one man meant, tens of millions of dollars perhaps for Dubois. So you have to feel for him. But look, I don't feel strongly one way or another. But I'm leaning towards.
I think the net result of that is, it's not so bad a decision that it should be overturned. If it's not low, if it's decided to be a legal punch, I don't think Usyk's got a case.
I agree with you there. It's so funny, though. I've talked with all my close contacts in boxing. We're split pretty much down the middle. And we've gotten into very heated arguments about this very issue. But, it's
check
the
my Twitter, exactly the same.
I saw. It's the judgment call of one human being, and the implications were profound, but it's not enough to overturn it by any means, no.
Well, let's bring in a man who certainly thinks that it was a legal shot.
Hey, Frank, how's it going?
Mr. Frank Warren. Frank, please jump in.
The managers.
Yeah, well, come in.
We're about to get in there ourselves.
Yeah, it's getting tasty. Yeah.
No, don't do that. Not unless you get paid, boy.
Mr. Frank Warren is here. Frank, we've just been having a great chat for the last 20 minutes or so. He's back in his man. Adam's back in his man. How are you feeling heading into this one? Big fight.
Look, everything's on the line for these two guys. Everything. You look at their age. You look at what's happening in the heavyweight division. Hopefully there's going to be a unification. But the various governing bodies are going to order these mandatory defences. So you've got first the IBF, and then you've got the WBO. This fight is for the WBO interim championship. Zhang's the winner at the moment. He's holding that at the moment. So whoever wins it next year is going to get a shot at the title. Whoever loses is going to have a long wait to get yourself back in for that fight. So everything, but I mean everything, is on the line. This is going to be a great fight. Both of them, they're not stupid guys. They've been around. They've got impeccable amateur background. Both of them silver medalists in their respective Olympics. Both of them should have been gold medalists. Two bad decisions. Both of them should have been gold medalists. Done everything they should do as pros. And, Zhang against Hrgovic, for me, he won that fight. I'm not having to go up at Hrgovic. He thinks I'm having a pop at him.
Come after you, didn't he?
He did. But I generally think that, I can only say what I see, and that's what I see. He won. But irrespective of all that, last time out, he came to England, he'd done the deal. He'd done the job in the ring. He'd done the job. This time round, the Brit, our man's got to rectify that. Can he do it? Can he change his style? Can he change at his age what he normally does? This big, tough juggernaut, can he change his style against this southpaw? A cracking fighter. This is going to be something special. I promise you, this is going to be a great fight to watch. A great fight.
Let me ask you one final thing, Frank, before we go up there. 5 months is the turnaround time between the first fight and the second fight. Is that long enough for Joe Joyce to make the adjustments he needs to, from his perspective, to get success in this fight?
I'll let you know Saturday night.
Well, look, and what about the eye?
Look, he's not. Well, look, his eye's healed. We want none of us. His manager's there. He's like a bloody good manager he's got. He wouldn't let him in the ring if he weren't right. That's all okay. It's been medically checked. He's okay to go. Can he change his style? I don't know. He's not a youngster. It's not like they're young guys. But but to his credit, he's a youngster as a pro. He's not got stacks of fight.
6 years,
He had,
16 fights, yeah.
In the car business, he's not got a lot of miles on the clock, has he? He's a young pro as far as fights are concerned. So, he knows what he's got to do. He's been in the ring with your guy. He's been in there. He's been in with a good fighter. He knows what he has to do. The question is, can he do it? And you'll find out on Saturday.
We will indeed. Thank you so much, Adam. Oh yeah, let's do a handshake. Thank you, Terry.
Proper handshake.
Frank, you're gonna? Yeah. Oh, he has mugged me off. He has mugged me off. He did mug me off in the end.
Kumbaya over here.
We'll get, thank you so much, guys. We will be back very, very shortly, and have a look at this promo first. Have a look at this.
These are the moments that change the course of people's life.
That was a nightmare for Joe Joyce. He had immeasurably
Shame they have his number.
Effect on his mentality.
Joe started to read his own script.
What should Joe do next?
got everything wrong.
It's all over! You can't do the power!
I always knew my son was gifted.
Joe, the Juggernaut Joyce!
He just quietly gets on with it.
Stylistically, that was a nightmare for Joe Joyce tonight.
When they say, for me, you can't do this, I always have to prove to them, yes, I can.
It looked awful, didn't it?
Joe Joyce is not a brilliant boxer.
Joe has always been written off. But no matter the setback, never, ever back down.
Joe Joyce by knockout!
He's developed that resilience.
Would you like a rematch?
He's grown up with that from a very, very young age.
Does Joe Joyce go into the immediate rematch? Maybe not.
The reason he's activated it is because he thinks he can beat Zhilei Zhang.
Can't do the power!
He didn't have to take the fight.
The public has realised he's a man who'll take on anyone.
You know what, this kid has the ability to win a world title.
His career is on the line.
Go get it, son.
He got beat like I thought he would. Me and Shane thought that Zhang would beat him. I actually thought that Joe would have to get up off the floor a couple of times and claw a win back, maybe, if he took him a few rounds. But obviously he didn't, and he got beaten. I told Joe, live on the internet, if you come to Morecambe Bay, I'll almost guarantee you a win over Zhang. Hi guys, this is the message to Big Joe Joyce. Joe, I saw you got the Zhang fight coming up again. If you want some proper southpaw sparring from someone who's bigger, fatter, quicker, harder puncher, everything than Zhang, please come up to Morecambe and do some sparring with me. It can only improve it. It'll make it better. And trust me on this, I've got a secret for you and I know how to beat that Zhang. Chop him down like an old oak tree. The offer's there, Joe. Get yourself down to Morecambe Bay and do as many rounds as you want with myself. Get up there. Can't say any better than that. I won't charge you a lot, just 100 grand a round. And he didn't. He went to Vegas, so you can't help somebody who don't want to be helped. And it is what it is. Tough fight again, 50-50. But you'd have to say, you have to favour the champion. Because one, he's just beat him already, knocked him out. And two, he'll be on a real high and his confidence will be even more up, knowing he can win. Before he wasn't sure, now he knows. But if he would have come to Morecambe Bay, I could have guaranteed him victory.
What does he need to do to beat Zhilei Zhang, other than go to
Morecambe Bay? I can't tell you that because that would be giving my training secrets away. But let me just say, make no mistakes about it. If Joe would have come up to Morecambe Bay, he would have smashed Zhang. But now I'm not so sure. You'd have to favour the Chinese man, purely on the fact he's already beat him once. And if he doesn't do something different in the next fight, then if he goes down the same road, he'll beat him again.
Your dad rates him. Your dad said he's the second best heavyweight in the world, Zhilei Zhang.
I think he's a very tough opponent and he's a big southpaw punching man. He's not like Usyk, a feather duster, jibbing and jabbing around the ring. This man's trying to take your brains out. 6'6" and 20 stone. So he's a very, very different customer. Very dangerous man. Very dangerous.